Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm kicking off part 1 of my spring cleaning series and I'm starting with the kitchen. I'll be cleaning the top of the countertops, washing down the cabinets and drawers, touching up some paint, cleaning the microwave and stove, and washing down the fridge. I've got a lot to do, but I'm so excited to get started. I hope this gives you a ton of motivation to tackle your own deep clean at home. I'm going to start with the top of the countertops. I have a couple plants up here, so it gets dirty from that, but it's also very dusty and greasy. I'm going to take my plants down first, and I'm going to water them while I have them down. These are pothos plants. I love them because, first of all, they are hard to kill, but also because they have vines, and once they get longer, I feel like they will look really good on top of the countertops and fill up that space. If you have space above your cabinets, what do you put up there? I used to put some decor and it just looked kind of cluttered, but I do feel like I need something else besides the plants. I'm going to fill up a bucket with Dawn dish soap and some hot water to clean the top of the cabinets. Dawn dish soap is what I use for the majority of my cleaning. It just cuts that grease and cleans it so well. Angles here are going to be a little difficult, but I'm so short, so I had the hardest time cleaning the top of the cabinets, and it's so gross up there. It's just greasy and not my favorite. For the next part, I grabbed a paper towel because I felt like I was just smearing dirt around with the wet washcloth. So this got some of that up first, then I went back in with the wet washcloth. I should have grabbed my mop with the handle. I feel like it would have helped me reach those places like way far in the back towards the wall. There was one spot that was hard to get off where my plant was, so I'm going to grab my Scrub Daddy sponge and see if that rough side will get that off. I'm also going to use the Pink Stuff paste, and that did a really good job. When I was done, I went in with a washcloth with just water on it to rinse off some of that soap residue. It looks so much better. At the way end of this video, I'm going to do some before and afters, so check that out at the end. The water was pretty gross, so I dumped it out. I put some more soap and hot water in the bucket, and now I'm going to wipe down the actual cabinets. Here's a look at a couple of them. The white just shows everything and it just gets pretty gross. I am going to wipe down every cabinet in the kitchen. This is something that I don't do very often, maybe once a year during spring cleaning. Otherwise, I just wipe it down here and there when I see spots and food caked on, things like that. I'm following a similar process where I use a washcloth with the soap and water, then I go in with a washcloth with just regular water, then I go in with another washcloth to dry it. It's a long process, but I found that it really works the best. That kind of reminded me of the Karate Kid where he says wax on, wax off. I'm going to be touching up the paint in here, and this is the best time to do it because I've washed off all the grease, food, dirt, and I don't want to be painting over any of that. Above the cabinets, it gets really greasy from cooking on the stove. I wish we had something better to ventilate it. I've been kind of bad about washing it down, so there is some yellowing on the paint, like right above the microwave. We have so many cabinets, which is just awesome, but it is a pain to clean. When we moved into our house 4 years ago, we had oak and we had painters come in and paint it. I'll put a picture on the screen. It looks so different. The white brightens up the kitchen so much, but it is a pain to clean at times and the paint does chip some. I left the washcloth on top of the cabinets. I am getting an arm and leg workout in this video. When I was cleaning our pantry here, I noticed a really bad smell. It smelled like a dead fish, honestly, and the next day it smelled even worse. It was awful. So I was looking for what was causing it, and it was potatoes that we had in there. I lifted up the potato bag, and there was like a brown liquid underneath it. I had no idea potatoes did that. kind of hard to tell how dirty these are from far away. Here's kind of a close-up shot of another spot that's just pretty gross. This spot is especially bad. I was using just my regular towel. Later, I realized the Scrub Daddy is what works the best. I should have been using that the whole time, but I'll show you later in the video when I use it. Now I'm moving on to the lower part of the drawers and cabinets. This is my part 1 of spring cleaning series. I'm going to do another part where I'm opening up all these drawers and cabinets and cleaning them out. This is under the sink area and where the trash can is. It always gets so dirty and you can see that huge paint chip. It has been driving me crazy, so I'm excited to touch that up later. As I was cleaning this section, I scraped up my finger. It hurts so bad. It's like a paper cut. Why do those hurt so bad? Ow. At this point, it was starting to feel never ending. I'm moving on to my island next, and then I'll finally be done wiping these down. I never understood on islands why they have the little doors that make it look like there's more cabinets, because there's no cabinets there. I don't get it, and I think it would look so much better if it wasn't there. I finally got smart enough and started using the Scrub Daddy sponge. That rough side is awesome because it just easily cuts into anything that is stuck on there. I'm thinking about actually painting our island a different color. I really wished I would have done that when we had the painters paint. I think it would just warm the space up a little bit, and I was thinking either like a sage green or a navy blue, so we'll see. I noticed most of the paint chips along the baseboards, so I decided to wipe those down so I can touch up that paint as well. I'm finally done with the cabinets. Oh my gosh, that was so much work, and I am happy to be moving on to something else. I'm going to clean the microwave next. I am going to mix together a cup of vinegar, a cup of water, and I'm also going to add a lemon into it. I don't really mind the vinegar smell, but the lemon makes it smell so nice. I'm going to put this in the microwave for 5 minutes. As you can see, shockingly, my microwave is not in bad shape at all. It usually has tons of food in there, so it's not going to be the most rewarding clean. You can see the steam coming off of it. It's really hot, so I use oven mitts to take it out. Take the tray out, and underneath those little grease, I don't know what they're called, grease filters maybe? I take those out too. That mixture will help break up any food that's in the microwave. Sadly, I don't have that much to show you, but I clean off the inside of the door as well. I'm wiping down this front part, and I also dry it off too. That'll get any streaks off of it. I clean off the tray, then put some Dawn dish soap on those grease guards to help cut that grease and try to get it a little bit cleaner. Underneath was pretty gross, so I tried my best to scrub that, and I noticed the grease guard thing fell off, and it was pretty gross under there, so I cleaned that as well. Apparently, it's not doing its job. To finish off the microwave, I just use soap and water to wash it, then I rinse it and dry it off. Even though this wasn't too bad before, it looks so clean. I'm sure it won't last long though. I'm moving on to the stovetop. I'm going to try to clean this a little bit better than I typically do. This is definitely my least favorite thing to clean in the kitchen. I put the sink stopper in and throw a dishwasher tab inside. My sink is nice and big. It doesn't have that divider, which makes this really easy. Then I put all the different parts of the stovetop in the sink and I'll let it soak. That'll really help get all that stuff off of it. For some reason, that stopper was leaking water underneath it, so it didn't soak like it should have. I didn't have time to fix it, so I kind of just sprayed the soap and water over it and just kind of let it sit there. Here, I just have a paper towel and I'm getting all the crumbs off and I'm just throwing it onto the floor because I'm going to clean the floor later. I also realized I should clean the backsplash before I move on to the stove. I like to move top to bottom, so I just did that really quickly. I like to use the Dawn Power Wash for my stovetop. It just does a little better job than the regular Dawn dish soap. I'm just careful not to spray it in the center where the gas is. I see people doing that on TikTok and things like that, and I feel like it can't be good for that. I use the rough side of the sponge to just pick everything up and get it nice and clean. Then I go in with a wet washcloth and just clean all of that off. Once all the soap residue is washed off, I go in with a towel and just dry it. I'm going to work on the center burner. It's in horrible shape. I grabbed a 99-cent toothbrush from Target. I added the dish soap on it like it was toothpaste, but I just go in and scrub away at all of that. This took a lot of scrubbing. I do have an electric brush, kind of looks like a toothbrush. I should have gotten that out, but I didn't. But this did a pretty good job. It's not perfect, but much better. I took all of the pieces from the sink and set it on a towel. Some of it needed some extra scrubbing, so I grabbed a Scour Daddy and I did that. It works really well. You just have to be careful not to scratch any of those. These also needed some more scrubbing, so I went in with the Dawn Power Wash and scrubbed those down also. Now it's time to put all the pieces back. I always forget to take a picture because it takes some trial and error trying to figure out which piece goes on which one, but I had it all set out for the camera, so I was ready to add it all back on. Some of these pieces needed some more soaking and scrubbing, but I just did not have time, so it's something that I will have to work on another day. I dry these off, then I place them back on the stove. This looks so much better. When all that grease and food is off, it is like sparkling. Now, nobody is allowed to cook in here for a while. Next, I'm going to touch up some paint. I love doing this. It is so rewarding. I'm using a paint pen, which is awesome for touch-ups. You're supposed to be able to draw the paint into it and it stays fresh in there, but this one, I don't think it was working, but there is a good one from Amazon that I've had in the past. I just couldn't find it, but I'll link it down in my description box. We had painting professionals come and paint for us, but I just don't think they did the best with prepping the wood. I know that paint will chip, but it just seems like it chips more than I guess I realized it would. The baseboard area was the worst, so this part was for sure the most rewarding. It just gets nicked a lot with different things hitting it, the vacuum, things like that. You would think these paint touch-ups wouldn't make much of a difference, but it looked so good after, and I was just so happy with it. I don't know why we have a huge can for paint touch-ups. I feel like we bought it for something else, but I just can't remember. I need to look and see when it expires though, because we are never going to use that up just for paint touch-ups. I ended up doing 3 coats on this little chunk that was out of the cabinet right here, and it did help, but it still is pretty noticeable. I needed to vacuum right here, and glitter fell out of the vacuum.
Oh,
My nephew got into my glitter in my craft room, and I had vacuumed it up, but some of it obviously did not get totally dumped out. I wash off the baseboards, then I start painting that. I'm getting really close to being done with the paint touch-ups. There was some paint chips close to the floor, but I couldn't get it without painting the floor, so I need to get some painter's tape sometime and do that. I'm moving on to my last big project for this video, and it's cleaning out the fridge. I empty all the food out first. We were somewhat low on groceries in this video, so that made it a little bit easier. Here's a before look. It was pretty dirty. I haven't cleaned this in a while. I'm going to use an all-purpose cleaner. It's called Simple Green, I believe. I found it on Amazon and the reviews were so good. I really like it. You can use it as is or dilute it some with water. So that's what I'm doing, and I pour it into an empty spray bottle. I spray down the whole inside of the fridge, and this spray smells so good. I know it would be better to take all the pieces out, but I didn't do that. I do end up taking some out though, and it makes it a lot easier. I started spraying down the inside of the drawers and realized this is just going to be a lot easier to take it out and spray it down in my sink. I'm going to let it air dry. We also have a drawer in our fridge, and I have little containers in there that I put the kids' snacks in. It's super nice. I let those soak, then I take the actual drawer out as well. It was really dirty under here. There was a ton of crumbs. I just use my sponge to just get all the crumbs out of there. I'm basically just tossing it onto the floor again since I know I'm going to just vacuum it up. This looks so much better. The fridge practically looked brand new. Going to clean these out. I put way too much soap in it. I just kept rinsing it, and there was more soap and bubbles. That was just the worst. We put snacks like fruit cups, yogurt tubes, cheese sticks, things like that in these. I dry everything off, then I put it all back in the fridge. After that, I put all the food back as well. I'm going to clean the door of the fridge as well. I just did this separately because I wanted to get the other food back in the fridge so it wasn't sitting out for as long. I wipe it all down, then I go through all the food. I check the expiration dates, or if anything is pretty much empty, I throw those things in the trash and keep the rest. I put everything back, then do the other door. It's such a process. I also didn't get to the freezer of the fridge. I just decided I'm going to do it another time, maybe in a different video, and I do need to move the fridge and clean the back of it as well. We have a chore chart magnet on our fridge. We don't use it anymore. We did this like a year ago, but we keep it on our fridge because we have 2 dents in our fridge. I decided to clean this off though, so it looked a little bit nicer, and this was so hard to get off. I just had to scrub and scrub. I'm going to clean the outside of the fridge, and such a surprise, but I'm using Dawn dish soap and water for this also. Of course, once again, I go back in with just a plain washcloth and rinse it off. Then I dry it with another towel, and that gets rid of streaks. If you have streaks on your stainless steel, just use a dry towel. Also, I sprayed myself with water. Okay, I'm getting so close with finishing up this kitchen clean. Just a few more things I wanted to do. I'm cleaning out my toaster, trying to get as many crumbs out as possible. I'm cleaning the outside of the toaster as well. Then I am going to remove my knife block. I want to clean the backsplash and the countertop. What's nice about the Scrub Daddy sponges is you can just throw them in the dishwasher. I noticed the dishwasher needed started, so I went ahead and did that, and I took the trash out as well. I'm putting my plants back up here, and lastly, I want to clean up the floor. I'm going to use my stick vacuum first. There was just so many crumbs, so I wanted to pick that up. I know the wet, dry vacuum can vacuum that stuff up too, but I just feel like it gets extra gross when I do that, so this is just what I like to do. Here's my wet, dry vacuum that I'm using to clean the floor. I did want to get my spin mop out and just clean it really, really well, but I ran out of time. There was a spot over here that would not come up. I had to get down and use a washcloth, and it still was a struggle. I think it was either candy or gum from Valentine's Day. I am done with part 1 of my kitchen spring cleaning. Here's a quick look at how everything looks, and then I will show you some before and afters. In my next kitchen spring cleaning, I'm going to tackle the inside of the cabinets and drawers, the dishwasher, and the oven. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some cleaning motivation, especially to do some of that deep cleaning. If you did, I would love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's still fairly new and it would mean so much to me. I have a whole spring cleaning series coming up on my channel. Thank you so much for watching.